Entering week 6 of the NFL season calls for adjustments. It's all about your adjustments, your flexibility. That's why we've got some downward-facing dogs for you this week with PFF Week 6 look-ahead lines. Keep it together. We got this. Brought to you by mybookie.ag. I'm George Chahrouri alongside Eric Eager. Eric, let's start out in Tennessee, where the Titans are at home. They have what we think is the better quarterback, or you could at least make an argument, certainly no worse than Joe Flacco.
After last week, yeah.
Certainly. And they are getting points, currently getting 3 points at home. We like the dog in this one.
Yeah, I think Tennessee coming off a really kind of unbearable loss to Buffalo on the road where, they were 5.5-point favorites. The Ravens, a similar loss against Cleveland, but I think, we reset here. They're basically similarly strong teams, right? The Ravens getting 3 on the road would imply they're 6-point favorites on a neutral site. I just think that's too much.
You're not dealing with a team that really should have lost to the Buffalo Bills. They're still a better team than the Buffalo Bills. They're at home, and they have a quarterback who really to this point has not had a chance to perform in an ideal situation. He's been hurt. He has below a 70 passer rating at this point from a clean pocket. That's got to regress upwards. I mean, there's just no way that gets any worse. And then you've got a Ravens team who I think people are probably still a little bit too high on based on the fact that they beat the Steelers on Sunday night, but I'm just not sold about that offense at this point in the season.
Yeah, we talk about Mariota having struggled so far. A lot of that you can attribute to injury, but the fact that Joe Flacco has just a 92.5 passer rating when clean shows that he is not back to being that elite-type player that people want him to be. I think offensively they struggled in the run game so far, and the receivers have really, not helped him out at all. Michael Crabtree dropping a game-winning touchdown last week is just a, sign of what has happened many times for Flacco over the last few years, but specifically this year.
I think Crabtree's done that once or twice before, so I would expect it to continue. All right, let's move on to the team that just beat the Baltimore Ravens. That is the Cleveland Browns. They are playing host to the lovely Los Angeles Chargers. The Chargers coming off a pretty convincing victory over the Oakland Raiders. The Cleveland Browns just really drug one out against the Ravens. No one scoring a touchdown there, which is kind of incredible. And that's why we're going with the under here.
Yeah, and this is all about pace, right? So the Los Angeles Chargers have averaged fewer than 65 snaps on offense and have allowed less than 65% of snaps defense as well. The Browns, despite having played an extra quarter, an extra 2/3 of a quarter in 3 of their games, still are under 75 snaps themselves. And I think, 2 good defenses. We finally saw the Chargers defense with Derwin James and Melvin Ingram and, players that we've highly regarded for a few years, finally stepped up and played to their potential against the Raiders last week. I see them doing that this week against a rookie quarterback. Mayfield's passer rating when clean is under 90, so he's been impressive, but I think limited that offense in their passing game from either the receivers or their offensive line. I think this game stays far under the total of 44.
The Browns have our 5th ranked defense at this point. That defense is no joke. Adding Denzel Ward has really helped that coverage. The pass rush is pretty solid. So this is a game, it's a perfect spot for the Chargers to kind of lay an egg here and get this one under the total. We have one more, but before we get there, let me remind you to head to mybookie.ag. It is the only place to get all of your investments in each Sunday. Take the information that you get here and put it to good use. They have all the different bet types that you could possibly want. They have in-game live betting, which you must have, and they make it really easy to cash out. So use promo code PFF and head to mybookie.ag. Where you play, you win, you get paid. All right, last one here. We are going to our old friends, the Denver Broncos. They are at home. We took them in a similar spot against the Chiefs. They are now welcoming in probably the other really great team in the NFL at this point, which is the Los Angeles Rams. They're getting 7 points. They're at home. They're coming off a loss to the New York Jets. The Rams coming off a very close, barely win in Seattle. We like, again, the Denver Broncos, the dog in this case. Yeah, the Denver's just a different team on the road than they are at home. They've been impressive, in their first 2 wins of the season. As you said, they kept up with the Chiefs. Case Keenum was okay in that game. Their running game was brilliant in that spot. They're just a different team, and they lose to the Jets. They lose to the Ravens on the road. The Rams, second straight road game where they're favored by a touchdown or more. Cooper Kupp, Brandon Cooks, both injured. Questionable for this spot, and I just think this is a good place for the Broncos to keep this game close. I don't think they win, but I do think they keep it within the number here. Here's the thing: you mentioned the injuries. Not only are the receivers injured, but Aqib Talib's still injured. Marcus Peters has been bad. He's not played well so far. Bad might be an understatement to this point. So maybe he gets it together, maybe he doesn't. But I still think that defense is a little weaker than we would expect it to be later on in the season. A nice spot for a little Case Keenum rebound. They've got some talented receivers. You know, they can keep this one close for a little bit until Case Keenum throws it out of bounds on the game-winning potential, game-winning drive. All right, those are our 3 look-ahead picks for this week. Make sure you get them now before those lines move. Of these, which line do you think is moving the most over the next couple of days?
I would say the Denver Broncos one's probably going to move down a little bit just because people are going to gravitate away from the Rams after last week towards the Broncos once the sort of idea of their home field advantage and the spot for them is fully appreciated. I think that this probably moves to the 6.5 number that we have it at, and at that point we probably wouldn't have a pick.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and then I would also say Tennessee. Being at home, they're still a solid team. We could see that one move towards them as well. All right, we'll see you later in the week with our podcast, PFF Forecast, on Thursday. And as usual, check us out at profootballfocus.com.